Hello, and welcome to the Achievement Hunting 101 podcast. You have made it to level 6. I'm your host, Kenny, and thank you for joining. We have an awesome show for you tonight, and I'm excited to get going. But first, I want to introduce my co-hosts. First up, we have a man who, when he drives a car off the lot, the price increases. Ryan, the Mighty Mango. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. Well, getting my work into this, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Sweet.
Next, we have the old man of the group, L, aka Big L. How's it going, bud?
I'm hungry.
Yeah, what's new?
Eat your Oreo.
Do you like regular Oreos or double stuff?
Double stuff.
Is that even a question?
Nope. Not really.
And lastly, and certainly the least, we have Corey, the Rocker Dude 5012. How's it going?
Ooh, achievement. Hey.
All right, so before we get to the main portion of the show, we want to give a shout out to the community milestones in our Proclamation Point!
This week we have a short list, and that list starts with Mr. Prue. He hit 600,000 TA today. Or the other day.
Yay, the worst host ever.
Woo!
Good job. Next on our list, P-Tart TX. And she has reached 375 completed games.
Yay!
Pretty!
You've gone over Foof 3 times now. More than that.
He wishes.
Last but not least is the mightiest of mangoes, Mighty Mango.
Ooh.
And he's reached a new milestone of 3,000 games played.
Holy cow.
Wow.
Yay! That's the bank account achievement.
What do you have to say for yourself for that one?
I'm a loser.
Nah, that's pretty cool.
I did do something cheesy for game number 3000. I played that Zen game, and the first achievement you get in the game is A New Me is the name of the achievement.
Ah, nice.
That's different. I usually hear people getting achievements for specific Gamerscore milestones, not for games.
So, setting a new standard.
He has to be different. All right, congrats to everyone with those milestones, even though it was a short list this week. All right, so we're going to get onto our community questions. The first one that we have is, do you ever wish the game you're playing had more difficult achievements? What do you think, Ryan?
Well, when I saw this question, I was kind of confused as to what they wanted for difficult. Is it difficult skill or difficult time? Because a game like Gra is not hard. It's just you have to dump a ton of time into it. Same thing with like Gears, which the seriously achievement, I said it right now instead of just serious achievement. It's another time sink achievement. I'm kind of over the time sink achievements, but I don't mind skill based ones. A difficult skill one, I mean, then it actually separates who's good at the game and who's not.
You don't want another time sink like clicker heroes?
No, I'm tired of I'm tired of the freemium time sinks. I'm over it. Just over it.
Well, for me, I'm kind of yes and no. It depends on the game. I do like the achievements that are based on skill, and it kind of makes you feel good about yourself when you unlock them. Like, for instance, the expert achievements on the guitar heroes and rock bands. It's pretty cool when you unlock them. It's just like, yay, I'm good at the game. If only I could play real instruments. But then there are the games where you just want it to be easy, just so you can complete it and get it out of the way, like Energy Cycle or something like that. You don't want a hard one. I don't want to, beat the game in under 15 minutes or something crazy. Just get it done, get the 1,000, get it out of the way. Elle, what do you think?
I think that occasionally it's fun to play a cheap and easy 1 to 2 hour game, just some mindless entertainment. And sometimes it's fun to play hard games and challenge yourself and get those hard achievements. But I don't really think there's any games where I wish there were harder achievements, because there's just so many games in the backlog and just so many other games to play that you could just go on to a harder game if you want, or a medium game if you want. maybe a game that could have had a little bit more difficult achievements was Inksplosion, because the last achievement was to defeat, I believe, one enemy on the hardest difficulty. But I kind of think at this point the devs are putting these easy games out on purpose to try to get us to buy them.
And Corey, do you like them hard?
Well, if you put it that way, then I say no. But
Achievements.
achievements, yeah, it's achievements.
Obviously.
When it comes to games and hard achievements, I think they're fine where they're at. I don't think they need to be any harder. If anything, there's a very small select amount of games that I wish there were more achievements to. Skate 3 comes to mind. Once I completed that, I still play it occasionally. It'd be nice if there was more achievements for it. I mean, I could do hard achievements on that one too because I think that would be fun. But yeah, most games, they don't need to be harder. It's fine.
And for our next question, what effort do you make to avoid missing discontinued achievements, such as intense boosting, petitioning the developers, stuff like that? Personally, I have no real opinion of this. I don't go out of my way to really worry about them. I play the games I want to play. So, Mango, why don't we start with you?
For what I've done for the intense achievements, or trying to miss out on discontinued ones, I used to email developers in the past, Twitter. I've done for NBA, I think it was 2007, where you had to have the 1,000 gamers on at the same time, which is a really stupid achievement. I know that there was a huge effort, and that was before TA was even around. It was done by X368 at the time, so got that one, but the amount of effort that went through, I just don't care anymore. There's so many games out there that if I don't get an achievement in a game, oh well. I got 3 billion other games I can play, so not a problem anymore. But I do understand completionists where they want to finish their games. I'm not going to stop playing a game because there's not an achievement I can get.
El, what do you do?
Well, I definitely have, from time to time, not started a game because of discontinued or unobtainable achievements. I mean, if it's a game I really wanted to play, I wouldn't care. But there's just so many games out there that are completable that I would tend to prefer to start those. I have tweeted developers in the past. Ryan, did you have any successful Twitter responses from any developers?
For a couple of the, Need for Speed Pro Street and Carbon, I was one of the people that tweeted about getting the, I forget what it's called, but it was the second month or second season achievement available, as well as the moderator achievement. They actually replied back saying asking if I wanted to be a moderator for the game so I could give out the moderator achievement.
Wow,
so
that's cool.
I did that.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
As far as intense boosting sessions, I tend to love them. I know a lot of people don't like multiplayer achievements, but I've met so many cool people, and I've even met you guys, due to boosting sessions on TA and through our communities.
I wish I was one of the cool people. I just have to settle for being uncool.
Yeah, I actually met you and everyone else in the community through through the Titanfall boosting session.
Oh, I guess I don't like them anymore.
Well, screw you. Corey, you do anything to avoid them?
Not really. They do suck because we have to explain to Elle what's really happening, and then he really wants to play them, and then I have to say no. No. Otherwise, I don't really care. They're just achievements I'm not going to get anyways.
All right. Next question. If you could go back in time and rewrite any one achievement, which one would you choose and how would you change it? For me personally, since we just mentioned Titanfall, I would do Too Legit to Quit. I would change it in two ways. The first, it would be more on the game side, and that's add a freaking warning to it. It's the achievements where you have to get to Gen 10 without a forged certificate. There should be some sort of warning in the game that says, hey, you buy this certificate, you can't get the achievement. You can very easily lock yourself out of that by not knowing. And then the second way I would change it, give us some freaking gamer score. You do all this work, spend so much time on this, and get 0 points. Just kind of slaps you in the face for doing all that work.
Forgot that was a 0-pointer.
Oh, it's so annoying. Mango, you got one?
I would say celebrity or true elite in Kane and Lynch, which is also, they are both 0-point achievements, and they are done based off of true skill rankings, which is always so much fun because it's old Xbox. I think if I recall correctly, celebrity was if you got to play as Lynch, and true elite is when you get to play as Kane, so it's the main character in the game. But you basically have to sit and play and play and play and play and play over and over and over again until you get ranked up enough. But of course, there's people that do, it's almost like a leaderboard achievement or a belt achievement where you have people blocking from access to the achievement. So the only way I got it on the Japanese version and the PC version, because I was able to play at the hours that the server got reset, so I was able to not have to play a lot to get it. But we used like 16 accounts to do it. But the US version was impossible. It filled up. It basically ended up being the people that were blocking were letting people get the achievement and then cycle through everybody. It was ridiculous and stupid.
That sounds wonderful.
And yeah, they're both 0-point achievements. It would be one where I would say you could just maybe play through the game, finish it on career on a difficulty, and then you can use that character whenever. Because as soon as you lost the rank in the game, you weren't able to play as them anymore. Yeah, so very stupid. And once again, super grind, 0-point achievements.
Yeah, that's horrible. You got one, Corey?
I do. I'm pulling from recent memory here, and you guys are going to make fun of me. There's an achievement, and its ratio is 1.15. And I hate this achievement. I don't have it. And it is the achievement called White in the game Assemblance.
I agree.
This is so stupid. Why does it have to be so precise? And why can't I get it? You have to do this very intricate, I say intricate, it's really like counting 17 seconds or something like that, and then look at a spot on the wall. But you have to like do a whole 2-minute prequel thing before that, and if you mess up, you have to do it again. So I don't know how many times I've tried this at this point, but I've kind of just given up on it. It's the last achievement in the game that you're going to unlock pretty much if you follow the guide like I did. And I mean, it's free. It says you're almost free, which I don't know. It says white, and I think there's a white shift. There's an achievement for a blue shift.
You'd be happy to know that the sequel has the same type of achievement.
God.
Oh, yippee.
You don't have to count down the time, but you have to look at a certain area, and if you don't do it right, it just boots you back, and you have to replay that section again.
Great. That just sounds lovely. But yeah, I would change that achievement. Just have me do something. Don't put this crazy specific time limit in it. Dumb.
I 100% agree. I actually forgot about that, or I might have mentioned that. I haven't unlocked it either. That is an absolute pain. Very stupid achievement. And for next question, what's better or worse in achievement names? Puns or pop culture references? Corey?
Simple. Puns are better.
All right. Mango?
Puns, because pop culture gets so dated so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I am old. I'm pretty dated.
Yes.
I date you.
Ooh.
You just won us 3,000 games.
Yeah, you want to see my collection?
You get
It's rather
1,500 of them in the settlement.
All righty then.
Wow.
All right.
What? Too soon?
Too soon. Too soon.
Too soon? Okay. Sorry.
L?
Go get some sun.
Well,
Oh.
jeez. Man.
Sorry, I just looked at you again. My bad. I like puns, of course, but I also love pop culture references. Who doesn't? You guys stink. I love the games that have the achievements actually that have references to other games, such as Borderlands. I believe has one called "My Brother is an Italian Plumber." Kenny probably has no idea what that refers to, but it's a Super Mario Brothers
refers
reference.
to Luigi. I know that.
Luigi, that's all. And that's for killing an enemy plumber style, which is to jump on top of their head. And there's something I actually taught Kenny, which is in the game Gears of War, there's an achievement called "Is That a Spider?"
Yes.
And that's for killing 100 enemies in ranked matches with grenade tags, which is actually based on the Halo Rooster Teeth production called Red vs. Blue. And there's a scene where he gets a sticky grenade stuck on him, and he says, "Is that a spider?" And it's really great. If you haven't seen it, you should.
Is that Caboose?
So
That,
that's
is
kind
that
of
Caboose that gets the grenade on him?
It's probably Caboose, yeah. So that's actually a very
That's
obscure reference,
Donut.
but I picked up on it. Oh yeah. Another one that comes to mind is in The Walking Dead. There's randomly an achievement called "You Fight Like a Dairy Farmer," which is one of the insults from The Secret of Monkey Island. And of course, I actually wrote a blog back in the day when people wrote blogs on TA about several Monty Python and the Holy Grail achievement references, such as "Not Dead Yet" and other fun things like that.
Oh, what game was the Not Dead Yet one then?
Bring out your dead. You want me to look up stuff now?
No, I just wondered if you
That's a
remember.
children of Bonham song.
That sounds familiar to me.
I think that one is in several games. I think there's another one. "Build a bridge out of her" was in Rise, I think. Is that your dog sneezing?
No, he's just barking at me. I'll take care of him.
Yes, there's "Build a bridge out of her" was from Rise, and "None Shall Pass" was in Shape Up. And oh yeah, Borderlands had another one. "There are some who call me
Earl.
Tim." No, not Earl. It's Tim. Damn it. My name is Earl. That's you, you hick. Get out
I
of
feel
here.
like Borderlands would have a lot of pop culture references.
Well, Borderlands needs pop culture references because the gameplay is.
It is. Oh,
Come
it is a
on.
snoozer.
Borderlands is great.
Oh, it's a snoozer.
It is a great game.
Hey, Ryan, do you want me to go bring you something and walk across the whole map and maybe find a vehicle? And if I do, I fall off a cliff somewhere and. Oh, my God.
You just get lost.
Borderlands,
No,
the pre-sequel has the achievement "Beam Me Up." I mean, come on, you can't get more better pop culture than that.
Oh, that's definitely. What is that, Star Wars? I mean, come on now.
Yeah, Star Wars is the best.
Hope Prue's not listening.
And for me, puns are way better. You're wrong, Al. I like puns, and I typically hate pop culture. Although a couple of those references that you made, I did like, especially the "Is that a spider" one.
See?
But typically, puns are better.
Oh, that's a very punishing answer.
Oof. All right then, and with that, let's do the question of the week. What are some of your favorite Games of Gold titles? Tweet us what you think, or post in our Discord with your favorites. With that, Corey, what game did you want to talk about?
You didn't ask our P-Tart questions, you dope.
And before our main topic, we have one more piece of community feedback, but this is a rapid fire one, and Ryan is going to be the one to read them off.
So I threw it out on my feed if anybody had any questions for our podcast, and P-Tart decided to throw out a bunch out at us. So I'm going to do some rapid fire questions, and we'll get some answers here from everybody. These are not necessarily gaming related, but I think they'll be entertaining anyway. So, P-Tart questions. Question 1, boxers or briefs?
Briefs.
Boxers.
Boxers.
Boxer briefs. Next question,
Ooh.
crunchy or creamy?
Creamy.
Crunchy.
Crunchy.
Yeah, creamy for me. Mild or spicy?
Spicy.
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 Yeah, and spicy here too. Even though I'm from Minnesota, not Minnesota spice.
Oh.
Spicy.
Quiplash.
All right, bacon or sausage?
Is that even a question? Bacon.
It is for me. Sausage.
Bacon.
Bacon. Muffins or bagels? I know what Elle's gonna say. Muffins or bagels?
This one's actually tough. I will go with muffins.
It's because you have a muffin top. Bagels.
Muffins.
Muffins. And then the final one, and this is her promoting her own little challenge she's having for her birthday. The UHH or the P-Tart birthday challenge. And I know some people did join Gamertag Nation to check out the P-Tart birthday challenge.
I did not see the birthday challenge, so I think by default I have to say UHH.
Love you, P-Tart, but UHH is amazing.
Hey, I signed up for the birthday challenge, so birthday challenge.
And I'm going to be the disappointing one. I picked neither. I didn't do the UHH, and I'm not going to be in town for her birthday challenge.
Aww. We'll represent you.
But you have a Windows phone, and you can unlock achievements in your car.
Yeah, if I put a SIM card in it. I'm not going to do that.
While you drive.
Yeah, while I'm driving, yes, to Nebraska, yes.
Perfect plan.
Bring me back some corn, okay? They have anything else there?
I'll be autocrossing at the national event, but...
All right, wear a helmet this time.
Yes. All right, I'll throw it back to you there, Kenny.
All right, and with that, question of the week. What are some of your favorite games with gold titles? Tweet us what you think or post in the Discord with your favorites. Corey, what game did you want to talk about?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say this is my favorite games with gold title, but probably my favorite that I've completed that has a pretty good amount of TA behind it, and that is Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris. If you've never played this, it is a sequel to The Guardian of Light, and it's, what would you call it? It's isometric, kind of action puzzly. That works for me. Anyways, so we, meaning Elle, Matriarch, and our buddy Stan, we played this as 4-player co-op online. I think we hit in the 20-ish hour mark, and it was a fun game. We did, so this is how you play the game. You go through a tomb, and the tomb has side objectives, and there's some overarching story that you grab things at the end of these tombs, whatever that is. It's okay. Anyways, so most of the achievements are tied to these tombs and their side objectives. The hardest side objective in each tomb is the speedrun achievement. So we would always do the first run blind, because that's, it's more fun that way. And then we would go and get all the side objectives we can, which sometimes it required multiple playthroughs just to get the money achievements. And then we always finished up the tombs with the speedrun achievements. And after you learn the shortcuts and whatnot, they actually weren't too bad. So the worst part of the game is that it's kind of buggy when you play online, and you might have to reboot the game. So I mentioned that this game is inflated. It was games with gold, so it's almost a 3.0 ratio, and there's really no need to be. So, it has like 45,000 tracked gamers and just over 1,000 completions. So it's not hard. It's just, it requires you to have a little bit of skill and then use up the 4-player method a couple of times. For example, the hardest achievement in the game by TA standards is to finish a tomb in 4-player local co-op only. So Elle, Michelle, and Stan all live in close proximity, and they were able to do this no problems. I'm all the way halfway across the country, and me and my 3 other buddies here on my hand, and we all got the achievement together. So not too hard, but it's a 5.2 ratio achievement. So super inflated.
Way inflated.
Game's good, and I would recommend it to anybody. So
that would be one achievement I couldn't get, considering I only have 3 controllers.
You are a bad achievement hunter.
Sounds like somebody needs to buy some more controllers.
I do. Mine keep breaking.
Go get some sun.
Oh my god, you and that son. Somebody's been playing World at War.
And go get us sun so you have someone to play with. Need more controllers.
El, did you have a game? Or do you just want to continue spouting off whatever nonsense?
I have a couple quick games to talk about. The first one is Chariot. That was a Games with Gold that I believe launched as a Games with Gold before it was available for sale. And our own community member, Skeptical Mario, wrote a lot of the guides for this one.
Yay, Mario.
It's a pretty tricky game. I wouldn't recommend playing it solo. You could play this local co-op. Michelle and I played. It's got a really, really, really high TA score because the levels are just very long. They could take as long as 20, 40 minutes just for one level. And some of the achievements require going through without dying, and then there's speed runs. One cool thing I have to say is that when Michelle came over, she couldn't get any of the achievements, but they actually patched the game where the second player also gets the achievements along with the first player locally. So that was a cool thing that they did.
That's good that they did that, because I do remember that only one person could get the achievements.
Wow, as it stands, this game is worth 12,000 TA.
I just saw that. I actually kind of did a triple take on that. Holy cow, that ratio.
Out of 58,000 people, only 74 people have completed it.
Wow.
So that is not that many. I believe 3 of our community members have completed it. Carnage, NBA Kirkland, and Waka Peel. Wow. So
what happened to you?
Good for them. Me, I'm 9th place on my friends list, and I only have 3,000 TA in it. So that tells you a lot. 9th place out of 60. So yeah, a lot of people get discouraged by this game, including Mighty Mango just dived this game.
Yeah, I think I did.
So
I helped with the ratio as well. I dived it also.
Did you?
I got 2 achievements in it, and I said, nah, I don't want to play this.
I actually tried to give it a go, but I wasn't feeling it. Not with one person. I could see where 2 people would be a fun time, but yeah.
Agree.
And speaking of my favorite type of game, co-op, one of the first games with gold, Guacamelee, which takes place in Mexico during the Day of the Dead celebration. And it's a Metroidvania game that is 4 players, which is the only game that I know of that's a co-op Metroidvania game. Unfortunately, only the host gets credit for the achievements.
Now, this isn't the regular Guacamelee, right?
Oh no, it's the Super Turbo Extreme Mediocre Championship Edition.
That name.
Just making sure.
And most of the game is actually pretty straightforward. There's a couple of hard ones for finding all the orbs. But other than that, the rest of the game is not so bad. But you do have to go through the game twice because there's a hard mode that opens up that you have to complete. So there's 2 playthroughs. There's also a 360 stack that does not have DLC as a side.
Was it Games with Gold too?
It was not.
Oh, so you actually have to pay for it?
Yeah, when the 360
It's like,
have to pay for it.
I'm considering it. It's like $15.
What if I told you that you pay for Games with Gold, Kenny?
That doesn't count.
No, okay.
Hey, Kenny,
Oh, but yes.
go get some sun.
Like, I didn't see that coming.
You did because you're watching me on video.
Continue with your Guacamelee.
I think there's
Yeah, it is $14.99 on Xbox 360.
popped. Oh. Yes, thank you. What I was gonna say is that the achievements only pop for the host, but I played it with Michelle and Michelle's brother, and we actually enjoyed it so much that we actually went through the whole game 3 separate times to get the achievements for everybody. So we really, really liked the game. So I guess I am considering getting it for the 360, and I'm very sad that Guacamelee 2 is going to be on PS4 first. That's going to be very sad for me.
Because you don't have anything else to play.
No, I don't.
Well, more reason to get the 360 version then.
I might. Going back to the 360 is hard, though. It's not backwards compatible. Those controllers
Yeah.
are just not quite the same, and it takes a while to boot up the 360.
Oh, I just noticed this too. If you missed it on Games with Gold, it's currently on Xbox Game Pass.
Awesome. Game Pass is so great.
Only the one version though, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about something, Kenny?
No.
The sun, it burns.
Crimson Dragon, which was an early Games with Gold game, which is in 2013. I believe it was a launch game too, wasn't it?
I believe so.
I believe it was a launch.
It was up there.
Yeah, which I paid for it. Apparently, I pay for all the free games. So, but yeah,
Seems smart.
yeah, very smart. SMART smart. The very first achievement is a gimme. You do a barrel roll for lean left or right in the game. It has a
Speaking of pop culture references.
yeah, do a barrel roll. Which I'm not going to say what game it's from unless you really want me to. Which is okay. I'll say it anyway. It's from Star Fox. It has a connected-based achievement by using voice commands, and it's got a really high and inflated ratio there, 3.7 ratio, and all you really have to do is yell at your TV a couple times and you get the achievement. Which I do have that achievement. The game, now, some people say it's easy, it's quicker, but it's not. It's about a 50-hour game. But, I mean, it ends up being a little bit of grind. I have 1,000 out of the 1,500 Gamerscore in it, and I've got about 20 hours into the game. But the remaining achievements are a little bit long, but almost every achievement in the game other than the gimmies are all inflated because of the Games with Gold status. It definitely went up when the game went to gold. Gold gimme.
Yeah, it doesn't help that it was close to launch when there wasn't a lot of games out.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of people when they first got the one bought the game, like myself. It's not a bad game. It was actually pretty good. I just haven't gone back to it, as with a lot of games.
Has anyone played Death Squared yet?
I installed it.
Same.
All right, that counts.
Why?
That counts.
It's got inflated ratios too.
Yeah,
Well, I believe there's already guides for all the levels, so I imagine if you went through with the guide, it's probably not so bad. It's just beating all the levels and dying a bunch of times. Kind of like your favorite game, Lilith M. Corey, don't you like that game?
I saw Death Square being played at Achievement Fest before there was a lot of guides out, and a couple of the girls were playing it, and they were getting pretty frustrated at the game because they knew what they had to do, but it's still kind of tricky. But again, I guess it's not a bad game, and the ratios are a little bit higher because, once again, it was free.
Free is always the best.
All right. Well, as it stands, the newest Games with Gold on the one is For Honor. I've heard good things about it.
That will probably wind up being very inflated.
Looks like 45,000 people already have it.
Yeah.
Count me in if it's boostable.
All right.
Well,
Boosts.
I'm downloading it right now, which means it'll be done in 2 weeks.
that sounds good. That sounds real good.
All right, and that will about do it for our part of the show. Up next, we have a sequential segment with Elroy and Michelle, and Waka will have his Quickie of the Week thrown somewhere in there. Look out for that anthem. If you want to contact any of us, you can find us on Twitter, TA, or Discord. When Discord is by far the best place to find us. Best conversations going on all the time. If you need any help with achievements, someone is there that could definitely help you. Especially, Ryan and his 3,000 games. He probably has a game you're trying to look with.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
And along with that, Corey does a ton of giveaways over in Discord, but you have to be in there to see them.
And talk to us, too.
Yes, and talk.
Say hi.
Please. We like new people. We're usually friendly. And if you want your milestones read on air, then send us a friend request on TA so we can track them. And if you want to ask us a question, you can either message us or tweet us. The show's Twitter account is at Achievements101, or you can use our community feedback Google Doc, which can be found in our Discord. All right, guys, we'll talk to you next week. See you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
A very sequential segment with Matriarch and Elroy MJ.
This week on a very sequential segment, we are dying to bring you another very sequential segment. This week's list looks at the best death achievements out there. This list came out courtesy of Facial DeFleur, who was obviously having a very great week when he requested it in the Discord chat. So, Facial, we hung in there and severed our lists down to the final candidates. We hope that you will bloody enjoy our selections and will pass on what we say to other individuals interested in such lists. With that, we give Facial and the Funky Bunch our top 5 best death achievements list. But first, it's time for some pleasantries. She is the 175th top-rated gamer in the state of New York of America for action horror games. Personally, I'm more of a horrible game type guy. She is Matriarch.
Well, thank you very much, as always, for that rousing introduction. And yes, you are a horrible game kind of guy who has no action horror games on your tag. So instead, we'll go with survival horror, where Elroy is ranked 19th in his home state of Tennessee. Top 20, baby.
Woo! Well, thank you for that wonderful introduction as well. So, M, do we have any feedback this week?
Well, we do, as a matter of fact. Apparently, our last segment was a hit with the dog crowd. After it aired, Rocker said the community needed a picture of Giggle Pig, your dog.
Oh, yeah.
To which you, Elroy, responded in kind of a picture of Giggle Pig laying in the grass with her oversized tongue hanging out, to which she became a bot. And to which What the Freakin' Fug said that it was not what he thought Giggle Pig looked like, to which I said that Giggle Pig was all tongue, that dog, and that I understood why she could jump over 6-foot fences, to which you said that next month she would be 8 pounds heavier and that you would post a picture of your reinforced fence, which, sidebar, you never did. And then Professor Pluto, he posted a picture of what I presume to be his dog, although it never is outright stated, although he conceded that the dog in the image he posted could not compete with Giggle Pig in the tongue department. I then got caught up in the moment, so many dogs in one spot, and better understood what Barbie and her sisters went through, and I admitted an awe, and asked Professor what his dog's name was, assuming, once again, that the dog in the photo was in fact the dog, Professor Pluto's dog, although, again, it was never outright stated. You then jumped in and stated Professor Pluto's dog's name was Pluto and threw in an obligatory duh, only to be found incorrect when Professor Pluto's dog's name was revealed to be Maggie, with an I-E.
Wow. That was very thorough.
Yep. I knew it would be rough getting through all that. Also, Professor Pluto later said he found the 6-foot high fence jumping amusing.
Oh. Well, I wish the beautiful and talented Kelly shared his amusement with our situation. Just to give you a brief update, they got out again. We had some storms roll through this week, and they got through, and I was like very upset about the whole thing. I bruised my hand on Doofangle's backside. I know you're not supposed to hit your dogs, but I just got caught up in the moment.
Was she Stormfangle at that point?
No, she was not. She was being contrite, and it was probably not. It was not my finest moment. And I also Giggle Pig ate another case of water in the garage, and so I thought maybe she was still thirsty. So there's one that was like 3/4 full that she had just bitten the top off, and so I chunked it as hard as I I could at her and
Aw.
hit her in the side. So now she's afraid of me when I have stuff in my hands. So I had to make it up to them all week, and we're back on good terms. So yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. You're back on good terms with your dogs.
Yes, yes.
But the cats are okay.
Yeah, well, Johnny Five got deballed, and
Oh.
yeah, but he's making a full comeback at this point. So.
All right, that's good.
Yeah, yeah. So, in other feedback, new listener Gnarly Sodas said, Mr. Kelly, you were too hard on Tommy, making fun of him for being a city slicker and, giving him an education in cows. I think you went too far. Well, Gnarly Sodas, I appreciate the feedback, and I appreciate you taking over the Student Achievement Factory. However, you are wrong, and you just failed my class. Do we have any other feedback in?
So that's how education works in Tennessee? Oh, but no, actually, seriously, we did have quite the flurry, not to be confused with furry, of community feedback this past weekend, which is great. Thank you very much, everyone. We love hearing it, so give us more. But we have one in particular here, Carpe Adam. He asks, who is the female on the pod? I don't think she ever introduced herself. Voice sounds familiar, though.
Well, Carpe Adam, I can handle that question. That is no other than Fufu Cuddly Poof. His voice, it may be high and he may be cuddly, but I assure you, he is quite manly, even though he is almost technically an albino. Yeah, still a good guy, though.
Yeah, I mean, while it might be true that Fufu is the voice he was thinking of, I think he means on our segment, not on the panel.
Oh, right you are. Well, she is the 175th top-rated gamer in the state of New York of America in action horror games. She is Matriarch.
There we go.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. Carpe Adam also had another comment. He said, your pets' names are freaking awesome. Oh. And get this. He used the apostrophe in the correct space. He spelled it P-E-T-S apostrophe with the apostrophe after the S.
Oh, boy. No. Are we at the educational portion of the segment?
You know it is. We can't get through a week without one. So remember, friends, and this is important because we talk to you all on Discord. If the possessive noun is singular, always add an apostrophe plus an S.
Oh, yeah.
If the possessive noun does not end in S in its written form, always add an apostrophe plus S. Okay. If the possessive noun is plural and ends in S, and this is a characteristic feature of the large majority of plural nouns, just add an apostrophe.
Boy, howdy. Grammar podcasts, they're the best. And so are you, apparently. Crappie Adam, I'm more of a crappie guy than a carp guy, but we like you. You both respected the rules of grammar so as to not allow our society to descend into chaos, and for knowing a good pet name when you hear one. Mm-hmm. Spoiler alert, Crappie Adam, my next dog is probably going to be named Buddy Rough Stuff. Maybe. I don't know. I may go with Bell Schnickel also.
Those are amazing names. Just keep them coming. Just let us know. Make sure to introduce them. In other listener feedback, Famna states that I am freaking awesome.
Well, I'm just going to have to second that motion.
Oh, well, thanks, Famna. And I think I am too. Isret02, I want to make sure that or 102, because I don't want to forget which number of Isret I'm up to.
Yeah, it's not Isret02. That guy's a jerk. Isret 102, now that guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
All right. Yeah.
He's a good guy. He states that I need to be introduced as the 191,383rd ranked gamer on the sports hockey leaderboard, presumably once hockey starts back up.
Well, I never knew it ended, but Isret 102, loyal listener of Achievement Hunting 101, we may have to take you up on that, but due to Matriarch's awesomeness that was established a few minutes ago, rivaled only by Tommy. He's freaking awesome. But we might want to limit it down to the New York State of America where she is, because then she'd probably be in about the top 175,000th. That's a massive improvement over 191,383rd. She's got to maintain her image, so
this is true.
We'll take that into consideration.
You can't be friggin' awesome when you're less than 175,000th at something. Isret 102 also liked the inclusion of a certain game on one of our lists. Oh. Although all he remembered about the game was the protagonist's abusive father.
Well, spoiler alert, I haven't made it that far in Barbie Puppy Rescue yet, but
thanks for liking my contrast pick and not liking any of my co-hosts. See, I am awesome. Facial LaFleur also chimed in about one of our lists regarding the non-inclusion of Guitar Hero.
Okay.
He says Guitar Hero Live has some strangely distributed values, some of which are very insulting, such as 19 Gamerscore for 50 stars, 18 Gamerscore for finishing in the top 5. I mean, 18 Gamerscore, and that's in 18 consecutive songs, which is ridiculous. 12 Gamerscore for unlocking a customization piece, 2 Gamerscore for changing a crowd's opinion from negative to positive in the last few seconds of a song, because that's a thing that people do. And the biggest slap in the face is 24 Gamerscore for playing online for 24 hours, which is obnoxious. That is a 1 Gamerscore per hour increase in your Gamerscore, and Waka would never include that in his segment, ever.
I don't know. Maybe the time changes in Sweden, I'd suggest it, but that I'll give you that. Okay, that does sound terrible, but fortunately for me, I just got finished playing a similar game. It was called Band Hero.
Oh.
But, much like the Student Achievement Factory, you featured that one, Matriarch.
We talked about it a little.
Yeah, but much like the Student Achievement Factory, I didn't really have to do much, but I went ahead and explained your query to my resident music genre individual, and I didn't expect this, but he had a lot to say about it, so I'll just let him take it away. So what did you think about the non-inclusion of Guitar Hero on that? Wow. So that is fascinating. So when you did the game with Band Hero, you didn't run into any of that? Okay. Well, wrapping up our community feedback, it seems that Mr. Wanda himself finally gave us a try and liked what he heard. So thanks, WNBA Kirkland, for taking time out of watching the playoffs to give us a few listens. And lastly, Johnny Come Lately, not to be confused with Johnny 5, who's now ballless, Kronos let me know that he had listened to our segments out of order. He listened to level 4 after level 5, and he hadn't quite made the connection as to why he was the laughingstock amongst his friends who had played Sesame Street Connect and how they all had the fun at the beach achievement with Elmo, and they were like, "Oh, Kronos, what happened, man? You didn't get the..." They were just riding him hard, and apparently Exprovos didn't, know where this was coming from. So we got to the bottom of it. He listened to level 4, and so he pointed out to me that he doesn't have the poor man's Sesame Street edition, but rather he got the deluxe version. Oh. So the achievement that I was looking at, it was not the correct achievement. He had that achievement in the alternate version, kind of like a ACA stack. That's how he explained it to me, and I understood exactly where he was coming from, a Windows and the Xbox One. But anyway, he got the deluxe version with Elmo's signatures, like a pop-up book, some kid crap, and some other stuff. So long story short, he has the achievement. So everyone, just lay off of him. So please stop sending harassing messages to Kronos about how he doesn't have the achievement. That's Kronos, spelled Xprovos on TA, on Xbox. Just don't send him any messages about how he's no good at Sesame Street Connect. He doesn't. It's not true. He's an amazing person. Just don't send any more messages his way. Got it? So no messages to Xprovos on TA or Xbox. Just don't do it.
All right. Fair warning. I hope everyone got it. So moving on to one other topic before we start diving into our list, or at least I think one other topic. You've had rats. You've had wasps.
Ugh.
Any new things plaguing you this week?
Well, I don't know if maybe that witch over in Sweden, Waka Key and Pill, I don't know if he's sending some bad juju my way, but I've had my time this week. So it all started one night, and I was fixing to go to bed, and all of a sudden I'm looking at the wall, and I'm like, what is all that on there? And it was like all these big dark spots, and I'm like, are those flies? And so I had an infestation, a hatch, if you will, and I don't know what they're technically called, but we always call them, well, I always heard it from my Uncle Gary, and they're called shithouse flies. And I don't know what their technical name is, but I did a Google search, and there's nothing on it that matches shithouse flies. And they're like regular house flies, but they're much bigger. Like they're like twice as big, and they're slow as anything. But they were everywhere. We had them all over our house. Cats were killing them. They were just all up in the windows. They were just everywhere. I had never seen so many flies in the house at once. And it's like, well, is there something dead in the house? Is our dog okay outside? Is there? I mean, we don't know where these flies are coming from. So then I get to work one morning, and I'm getting ready for work. For the day at the school, and Kelly calls me and says, ADT just called, someone broke her glass, or they had a glass breakage alert. And so I'm thinking, well, someone's breaking into our house. So I bolt out of there. I only live about 8 minutes from the school, so I get to my house, and I found the culprit. It was no other than a cat burglar. It was Johnny Five Head or Battle Cat. I don't know which one it was, but apparently they were swatting at these flies, and they got up on this makeshift thing and knocked a plant over. It hit the ground, busted, and then the alarm went off. So I've had my time with these flies. They're gone now, though. It was only for 3 days. So they show up, they create havoc in the household, and then they're gone. I don't know. It sounds like a plague to me.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, plaguing you quite literally. So with that story, plagues killed people, and we're talking about dying this week. So
that was well done.
We'll jump right in. So for those of you who chose to scrub about 16 minutes forward, here's the meat of the list. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started on our top 5 achievements related to death and dying. Now, if there is one achievement type that typically falls on the easier end of the spectrum to get achievements, it's ones for dying, right? Because many games do involve trying your hand repeatedly at a multitude of tasks and failing at them, right? So it may come as a touch of surprise that it was actually a little difficult, at least for me. I won't speak for Elroy because I know he had great joy in writing this list this week. But I had a little trouble finding good achievements because you don't want to do things like die the first time in Dark Souls 2. Okay, great. That's boring. And we try to keep this thing entertaining, so trying to find achievements that were clever or outlandish or at least a little memorable was part of the game. In researching for this week, I used True Achievements and its search feature, which is very awesome, to search for achievements that had certain keywords in it, because I'm a librarian by trade and researching is what I do. So I tried the word death, and what that search yielded was that there are over 50 achievements that are titled Death from Above, which is strangely almost 3 times as many as the number of achievements that are called Death from Below.
That is unacceptable.
Yeah, I guess it's just much easier to have something kill you from above you than below you.
That's not true.
No?
I got some words for you. Moles.
Moles?
Holes.
Killer holes. Oh.
And moles.
I suppose so.
And holes.
And holes.
And sandworms. Bear traps.
Right? Lava flows. I mean, these are things we encounter every day, and they're from the ground up. But either way, people who make achievement lists seem to be more focused on what's above them on what's below them.
Spike pits.
It's a Prince of Persia back on your old computer. Everything was below you. You didn't get killed by anything above you. But we're not talking about Prince of Persia, because that game, the one I'm referring to just now, had no achievements, unlike the remake many years later.
Yeah, don't need it.
But once you get just a little ways past all those Death from Above achievements, just after the 3 Death from Afar achievements, there's an achievement.
Afar?
Yeah, there are 3 achievements called Death from Afar. Which
where was the fire at?
Wow. I hadn't even thought about that. I'll let you know. But anyways, just beyond those 3 achievements, there was an achievement called Death from All of the Above, as if you were, picking from a list. And this achievement is the one that I picked for honorable mention for this week. So if any of you are familiar with N+, you know that dying is just a part of that experience. Have you played N+?
I've dabbled with C+.
Okay, that's good to know. Do you teach that still in Tennessee schools, or have they moved on?
We're more on to Java. We're in the 21st century now.
All right, good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad
Not
to hear
Python yet, but we're still dealing with Java.
All right, but not C or BASIC or anything like that, right?
No, we haven't retrogressed that far yet.
All right, cool. So if you've played N+, once again, dying is a big part of the game. It's a platformer, puzzly, not puzzly, but like it's a Super Meat Boy type game. You're meant to die a lot, and there actually was an achievement in the first N+ for dying 1,000 times. N++, which came out on the Xbox One recently, well, recently-ish, it doubled, tripled, and further multiplied down on achievements for meeting your demise. In addition to achievements that you get in N++ for your 100th, 1,000th, and 5,000th deaths, the following achievements also reward you for dying in more specific ways. The first achievement, die during the solo introduction. Look, it's going to happen. So the achievement is given the not all at all ego-shattering name of You Suck. But that's okay.
That's awesome.
Because, let's face it, you and several tens of thousands of ninja are not getting out of this alive. And it's okay. Because you suck. And that is really okay. Then there's another for dying from hitting your head on the ceiling called Using Your Head. Momentum can and will kill you. Frequently. The rest in piece de resistance is, however, the aforementioned death from all of the above achievement. The reality is that you will probably get this one naturally. But let's look at a couple of the deaths you need to encounter. Hitting your head on the ceiling. Cool, we already got an achievement for that. Death by machine gun, death by mines. And the opposite of dying by hitting a ceiling, dying because gravity is a thing and going splat on the floor. All in all, according to the solution for death from all of the above that was written by Radical Sniper 99 on True Achievements, there are 20 unique ways to die. And don't worry, you will find them all naturally because just remember, you suck. But that's okay.
Wow, that sounds pretty awesome. I like it. Number 5. Number 5 comes to us courtesy of Bold Boy. That's B-U-L-B. Bold Boy. All Faces of Death is the name of the achievement. So let me tell you about Bold Boy. He is a fragile young lad whose mischievous ways almost always end with the sound of cracked glass and then the red screen informing you of your failure. You see, Bold Boy is made of glass. Hence, but Bold Boy. Yeah. So he needs to be a little more careful, but alas, Bold Boy is also a brave young lad who refuses to back down from anyone, and the wild adventures that unfold before him ultimately put him in harm's way. A lot of harm's way. And that is why he's number 5 on our list of top 5 best death achievements. Did I hear doubt? Did I hear doubt in your voice?
Mine?
Yeah, do you not know what Bold Boy has been through?
No, I guess not.
Well, for starters, he takes part in the second best crap scene in video game history. Now, do you know of the best crap scene in video game history?
It certainly begged the question. No, I don't, so please enlighten me.
I am the great mighty
Oh,
Pooh.
yes, of course. Conquer 64.
Yes.
And I guess also in the Conquer game in Rare Replay, but I didn't get that far in the Rare Replay version.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was just
great.
as magical the second time around.
Could you
They
sing a
also
little
did
more of it? Because I hear we have some folks who love singing that listen to the podcast.
Well, he's going to throw his shithouse flies at you, I think is what he says. But yeah, so... Yeah, we won't hold that against it. It's only the second best. But anyhow, Bold Boy doesn't face the King of Pooh. But he does have a face-to-face with a very flexible turd that is wearing a creepy theater mask type thing. Okay. As it cascades out of the toilet. It looks like one of those like snakes in a can. Like you open up the can, the snake jumps out. And so it's like this giant turd coming out of the toilet with a mask on. And it roars at you. Right? And you search for a way to flush it back down from whence it came. But if you're unable to mash the A button a satisfactory number of times, I know it's a lot of skill there. So if it starts to roar at you and you don't hit A fast enough, the towering toilet menace roaring in your direction will ultimately pop you, and thus you be dead. Now, normally, this would be a bummer, right? I mean, you just got killed by poo, and you have to restart, but it's not so much in this case. So for starters, you get to watch the cutscene again, which is a mountain of feces emerging from the once innocent toilet bowl you were going on the offensive on. But just know that you've satisfied one of over 20 different ways that you can die in this game. You had 20 in the last game too, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it must be something about 20 different death sequences. But all of these ways that you die are needed for the All Faces of Death achievement, worth 100 points. So yeah, you gotta get that one. Yeah. So thus, Bulbware, that's who made Bulb Boy, was very proud of all the death sequences they programmed into the game and made sure that Chivo hunters at least got to watch them all. So amongst the other ways to die, would you like to hear this list?
Yeah. Let me know. Yeah,
all
go
right.
for it.
So Bulb Boy must meet his glass-blowing maker by being popped by a mysterious arm that just is never explained. It's just a mysterious arm. Okay. There's a headless chicken that you must ultimately cook and then eat, but the thing's about 20 times bigger than you. So a little side note, eating a giant headless chicken that is 20 times your size is pretty rough on the colon. But it's not as rough as eating too much red meat, which can lead to inflammatory bowel disease. But the sheer volume of meat consumption, of eating a chicken that's 20 times your size, led to a very strenuous passing of said meat. And so, spoiler alert, this incident leads to the showdown with the giant face poop. Well, yeah, poop is, the poop is giant compared to the toilet and its other surroundings. It's, it's not a giant face on the poop. It's just a giant, I don't know, I'm not sure how you would say that. Giant face poop, it leads you to believe that the face is giant, not the size of the, but
right.
I digress. But yes.
Oh, okay.
But
grammar,
anyway,
pal.
Yes. So, pro tip, you get one of the death sequences by not using the toilet, in which case you burst, and then a giant poop emoji without the cute little smile on it emerges from your body, and it just starts quivering uncontrollably. So, have I not taught you into playing this yet?
I mean, I'm downloading it now.
Well, other than the death sequences that I've already listed, some other ones include underwater sewer worms. There's also a mysterious sewer tentacle monster. There's some strawberry vomit that will kill you. And of course, there's a snot bunny that will kill you. Yeah, the final boss in itself is an adventure. And the final boss itself features 10 different ways that it can kill you, all by itself. So, death by death, Bulb's precious enlarged head popping over and over until ultimately you get to pop yourself. Was it worth it? At what cost? 100 points, you say? I would pop a whole 6-pack of Bulb Boys, and not the A-style incandescent light bulbs that aren't used anymore. But did you know it's all about the halogen incandescent and the compact fluorescence, or my personal favorite, the LED. So here's to you, Bulb Boy, and your fantastic bodily fluids and waste-related deaths. You are number 5, although it might have been more appropriately to put you at number 2.
I'm going to need a minute to recover from that one. Okay, so we had a theme in Honorable Mention in 5 that we picked achievements that were largely about different types of death. And we actually don't really pre-screen each other's choices. So my remaining 2 choices actually are for more specific achievements that deal with death. Is yours about the same, or did you go with the more...
Yes and no.
Yes and no. All right, well, we're going to figure it out when we get there.
I'm just all over the board.
That's why we love you, Elroy. So, number 4.
Love that guy.
Like I mentioned before, I actually had a really hard time figuring out achievements for this list because it's hard to find achievements that are good and fun and interesting to talk about. So, the first time I went through and I typed in the word death and I tried typing dying and kill, and I really wasn't getting anywhere. So, eventually I just resorted to looking down my game's playlist, hoping desperately that something would eventually jump out at me so that you, our listeners, would not be deprived of Elroy's stories and my awful monologues that make our segment go on so long. So finally, we need a timestamp? I don't think we want to do that to ourselves. But on page 16 or so of my games collection on True Achievements, I found it.
Ooh.
A game that should have come to me the second we decided on this list.
What did you find in?
Well, the game that I found was none other than Dragon's Lair. Now, chances are, if you stake any claim to being a gamer, you've played Dragon's Lair. It has been released on everything from the Atari Jaguar to the ZX Spectrum, everything in between. So you've had access to this game at the very least on some console that you've owned, and including online. Now, you've played Dragon's Lair, I hope?
Oh, yes. I grew up a child of the arcades back in the glory days, and boy, that was crazy. I believe it was the first game ever on a Laserdisc. Am I right on that?
That's my understanding too, which is why it has such beautiful animation, which sort of became the problem when it eventually made its way onto the Xbox Live Arcade. Because, you know, on one hand, it's good old traditional Dragon's Lair, but on the other hand, it was good old traditional Dragon's Lair. But the Xbox Live Arcade version brought with it two unique enhancements. First, Kinect integration, and, of course, achievements! Yay, achievements.
Yeah.
Dragon's Lair
Kinect,
is... Yeah, and of course, Kinect.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, buddy. Rest in peace. Dragon's Lair is known for being the first game on the Laserdisc, for its animation. It came out in 1983, so it looked especially beautiful when you consider the other games that were in arcades in 1983.
Sure.
But the one that plays best into our list this week is The Many Deaths of Dirk the Daring, the hardy adventurer who is at the center of the game's quest. All of the gameplay in the game comes down to 5 inputs: up, down, left, right, and some kind of input button, usually for swinging a sword. Or if you're playing on the Kinect, moving left or right, jumping or ducking, and making a swinging motion.
Because I'm sure that's 100% accurate.
Oh, you know it. The Kinect always nailed that integration.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I honestly, admittedly, have never tried the Kinect version of the game. I did watch some preview videos before it was released, and it looked about as you would expect.
Yep.
There are 2 achievements on this list that are specifically for specific deaths. One of them is Eat Me, for losing your last life in the Drink Me scene, which sounds a little counterintuitive. What you're supposed to do in the scene is go right. But if it is your very last life, because you do need to earn this achievement on your last life, and you, for example, go left, the scene will change slightly, and for dying, you will see a sign that says Eat Me and a loaf of bread and be 1 achievement richer. Bleep bloop. Awesome.
Yeah.
The other achievement in the game for dying is Choked Out, for dying via asphyxiation during the bedroom scene. This can get all sorts of suggestive, and we're not going to do that here. The way you trigger this one is for playing in the game's hard mode, and it's earned for going left or right and witnessing that particular death animation. So, once again, game was known for dying. Dirk died in all sorts of ways, and you need to see the death where he asphyxiates. Thankfully, Kinect used to earn this achievement is not quite literal, so you, the player, should be able to make it through your bedroom without choking on your way to that glorious 20 gamer score.
Well done. That's awesome. Yeah, I actually had it on my iPhone most recently, and it was a fun little playthrough on the iPhone, even though they still want to charge like 1980s prices for it. Yeah. Like, come on, guys. Let's go. Anyhow, number 3. So, you know, I know I make a lot of jokes here, but it's time to get vulnerable.
Oh.
Yeah. So, number 3 is from Emily Wants to Play. Such a Happy Girl is the name of the achievement. So, let me be straight with you. When I first played this game, I didn't do any research whatsoever. I was in the fledgling stages of my achievement hunting days, and hadn't quite really figured out TA yet. Not that I have now, but I was really bad back then. But it just came out, or maybe it didn't. I don't know. I had never heard of it, and I bought it on sale because it was since the completion was listed at under 10 hours, and then it just sat in my library for a while with this hideous-looking picture on it, and so finally I was just looking for something to play one day, and so I read the achievements. I saw the high point values, and there was, I knew that there were some guides for it, but that's really all I knew. I just knew that there was like the written guide on TA, and I mean, I just thought, well, okay, I can make some quick points on this. So, coupled with this, I have never played any horror games. Like, I've never played Friday Night Freddy's or anything
Five
of the
Nights at
sort.
Freddy's. We don't
Yes.
want to alienate the kids any more than we already did when we didn't understand dating apps. Got to get the name of the game right.
Yes, Friday Night Freddy. Or,
Five
what
Nights
was
at
it?
Freddy's.
Oh, Five Nights. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Let me jot that down. I'll have
For
it right.
future reference. If we,
Yeah, for
if it comes up
games
again.
that I will never play. Okay. So basically, I went into this game like a lamb to the slaughter. Like literally, I have blocked a lot of this experience out of my mind in an act of self-preservation. But here's what I do remember. So I started the game up. Ridiculous plot. You're a pizza guy. The door closes behind you. That's the backstory. So I muscled through the collectible section pretty quickly using the guide, and it can be done in the first hour of gameplay before Emily and her ragtag group of Friday Night Freddy group and before they show up and wreak havoc. So I get done fast enough, and there was still time left on the clock before the game officially kicked off. So I just hit pause and went on another search on TA for any other achievements that I might be able to obtain while I waited. So enter the achievement, Such a Happy Girl. It's pretty much obtainable from the start. I just happened to run into it kind of near the end of the first hour in the game. So here's what the guide on TA says. This is all I went by. This is provided by Bill something. Got to give him some credit. So this is what it reads. For this achievement, you need to go through the kitchen, into the garage, and jump down into the hole in the corner of the room. You can only get this if you didn't open the secret passage to the basement in the parents' bedroom. You might want to do this first. Okay. So there's the kitchen over there. Check. So I guess this is the garage. It's a little dark. I cannot really see what's going on too much. All right, got it. It looks, pretty dark, but I think that's a hole over there. So I'll walk over to it, and I jump on into the hole. So what happened next, I will never forget. So this little freaking doll comes like running over to me, and suddenly my TV is like blaring at me, and my controller is shaking out of my hand, and I've never had that experience with my Xbox before, and I did not like it. So I just sat there in silence, like this fear had swept over me.
Oh no!
And I was completely unprepared for what had just transpired in front of me. I had no idea that was the type of game that I was playing, and I just sat there in silence, and then finally I regained feeling, and then I just got super pissed. I couldn't believe that I had just walked right into that, and so I immediately stopped playing the game, and I've never played it again to this day.
Wow.
But if you'll notice, I still have like all but one achievement on the game, and that's because I assigned it to the Student Achievement Factory.
Okay.
And I kept hearing screams in the back room, so I got my money's worth out of it from hearing that. But I even had a better experience with it since. So we have this virtual reality experience in Memphis. We just got it. So some dude set up some virtual reality machines, and I went with two of my students. We were just kind of catching up. They had graduated, and so I went with them, and I saw that Emily was on the list of games that you could play. So the only thing that I enjoyed more about putting this game on my list was that one of my students had no idea what this game was either. So I direct them to, wearing a VR headset, I directed them like, oh, you know what you got to do? You got to go through the kitchen. You got to go into the garage. And see that little hole down there? Why don't you just go jump in that? And of course, I was very convincing. And the student did so and had a very similar experience. And I feel like I just passed it on and I got my, redemption. So, Emily, add this accomplishment of being number 3 on our list to the best death achievements for basically owning me. And I'm sure that will make you such a happy girl.
You really are a horrible person. You poor students.
Yes.
Got to be careful when you're in your classroom.
Oh, yes, indeed.
But you mentioned redemption before.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of redemption, there was this particular game that was set in the Old West. that's getting a sequel very soon called Red Dead Redemption.
Oh, I thought it was Western Press.
Oh, I you know what? I enjoy doing this with you because you play so many games I've never touched. I'm always learning something every week. Yeah, I mean, I know Western Press because people are looking to boost it, but I really know nothing about it. But no, not Western Press. Red Dead Redemption.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things Red Dead Redemption did very well was it expertly brought us back to the era of the Old West, the Wild West. And it brought along a lot of the unease that came along with living during it. There are several achievements around dying because, well, that happened a lot in those days. Though I guess no less than it happens now.
Dysentery.
Actually. Right. But the methods were often a lot less sanitary and far more grisly. Now, John Marston, who's the main character, may be a man tempered by the Wild West, but you as a gamer are not. As such, there are a pair of achievements in the game that might test your moral turpitude. No, not the one for killing every animal. That's easy. That's just what you did at the time. You see a snake, you shoot it. You see a hawk, what do you think you do? You shoot it, Elroy.
Oh, yeah.
You shoot it. You see a cactus, you shoot it too, because it's a target, right? You just shoot things. Now, the issue for the first achievement, though, is when it's related to the decimation of an entire species of animal from a part of the United States. And before I get into the achievement I really want to highlight, I do have to give a nod to Manifest Destiny, which is earned for killing the last buffalo in the Great Plains. But, I can get over it. After all, there is history there. It's sad, awful history, and you're an awful human being if you choose to relive it. But if you want to claim the mantle for blasting those buffalo, have at you. Can't stop you. No, the achievement I really want to highlight for this list is Dastardly. And it would help if every time I said Dastardly, you imagine a man with a top hat and a long handlebar mustache, just as you see in the achievement tile, who occasionally twirls said mustache and goes, "Nya-ha-ha," as he does dastardly things. So if you could provide me with a "Nya-ha-ha" when I say Dastardly.
Oh, gotcha.
All right. So here's how you get Dastardly.
Yeah.
There we go. And why it places at number 2 on our list. First, you have to get far enough into the game to get a lasso. This is pretty innocuous, right? It's the Wild West. People use lassos. They have to get their horses back and all that stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
But then, you have to find a lady, specifically a lady, and lasso and hogtie her. Now, this act is dastardly enough, but no. This is the Wild West, so it doesn't end there. With this lady bundled up, you need to take her and put her on the back of your horse, find some train tracks, and then you need to place her on those tracks and just wait. And well, once the train comes, Dastardly, unlocked.
Wow. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's a real achievement. I love it.
I don't have it, actually. I don't have the ability to do this. It's just a game, but that's pretty awful.
Well, I have it because I've never had any problems picking up women, so.
And putting them down on the train tracks.
That's right. All right. Number 1. Number 1 comes to us courtesy of 8-Bit Adventures for every freaking achievement in the game. So it's a, I don't know, 20-way tie, I think, or something.
Yeah,
yeah, whatever
it is.
That. Yeah. So, 8-Bit Adventures Anthology. It's all about those best death achievements. The game is a trio of suicidal individuals traversing different 8-bit locations and doing everything wrong in your 8-bit powers in order to be killed by the 8-bit environment and the 8-bit characters within. Now, if you do everything correctly, you will have done everything wrong. So, where else can you get 1,000 Gamerscore for falling to your death, being sucked out into space, eaten by a spider, or being burned to death by a dragon? Like fire? Maybe you want some death from afar? Well, you can also catch yourself on fire. And you can also forego leaving a burning vehicle and burn alive inside. Burning alive, not how you like to die in cars? Well, how about you just blow up? Yes, 8-Bit Adventures has you covered with a Chivo for that, too. Does that still not get you going in?
No, I need more.
All right. Do you like prostitutes?
Well,
how about
Gamerscore, I suppose. Is this a PG podcast anymore? Do we move that?
Awkward transition there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. How about being murdered by one?
Oh.
Yeah, thanks, 8-Bit Adventures. If you like variety, you can also be killed by a prostitute wearing red.
Oh.
Prostitute's not your thing? Well, guess what? You can also be murdered by a mugger. Memphis. Will you want the mugger instead of being the mugged? Well, no problem. Try robbing a gun store. That's always a great idea. Yep, you guessed it. You die for that too. Do you like the supernatural?
Who doesn't?
Yeah. Well, you can carry a gem for too long that will possess you and end your life. It may be around this time that you're looking for a friendly face, all this death. Oh, wait, look, it's your sister. Wait a minute here. Something is off here. Oh, that was an evil spirit inhabiting your sister? No wonder she looked different. It consumes you. Dead. Sharing is caring, they say. But anyhow, want to forget all the bad things that have happened to you? Well, the good news is you can also die from amnesia. You may not remember who you are, but you sure can remember how to kill yourself. Who is that girl standing over there? Oh, it's not a girl. It's a warlock. He'll kill you. What about her? Oh, you mean the werewolf girl? Side note, not a prostitute, I think. Still, we'll kill you, though. They say that 6 tablespoons of water can kill you. Are you familiar with water intoxication?
Yeah, actually, there was that one story about another tangent, but there was a radio station that held a hold your wee to win a wee.
Yeah, don't
contest.
wee for wee.
Yeah, and she died from water
intoxication.
intoxication.
Yep. So apparently that is 1/5 of a gallon per hour. So that's more than your kidneys can process. So, yeah, you might lay off the water a little bit. I think Giggle Pig drank that much. Yeah, she destroyed a whole crate of water. But anyhow, you don't need to set your sights so low as to just 6 tablespoons. I mean, even though they say technically that gets in your lung and can kill you, because 8-Bit Anthology, they give you a whole bathroom for you to drown in. And lastly, where do you suppose all that water ended up going? Well, the sewer, of course. What's that? Is that a turd with a face mask on? With broken glass all over it? Nope. Guess what? It's a sewer gator. Is it friendly? No, it's a freaking sewer gator. You're dead. So that's it? Yep. You don't have to beat any of the games. Just do all the things I mentioned, and you'll get 50 points each, with a couple of 100 pointers sprinkled in there. Now, Em, any guesses of which ones are worth more?
I don't. I've completed the game. I don't remember, though, so why don't you let us all know?
Well, I don't remember either. Okay, so it's for these 8-bit reasons and the sheer 8-bit joy of killing your 8-bit self that the 8-Bit Anthology and its 18 8-bit death achievements are number 1 on our list for best death achievements.
That was fantastic. That was well done. Good job.
Well, thank you.
Well, this wraps up another episode, I suppose, of the very sequential segment. As always, you can reach out to Elroy or myself, Elroy OMJ at just about everything, Matriarch at just about everything. Thank you so much for everyone who has provided feedback, and we love that you gave us some suggestions for future top 5s. We're definitely going to be working on those and thinking of those for future weeks. Please keep them coming. And I think I'm done rambling. We've gone long enough.
Yep. So thanks again for listening. Watch out from death from below and above. And I guess it's time to say see you later, Sewer Alligator. Let the countdown for our next list begin now.
You then take the minced moose and add taco spices to it. Oh, hello and welcome to Waka's most controversial quickie of the week yet, Fallout 3 PC. This kind of okay sequel to the excellent post-apocalyptic RPGs Fallout and Fallout 2 is infamous among achievement hunters for allowing you to get a full completion worth 1,550 Gamerscore in as long as it will take you to type add achievement 1, add achievement 2, add achievement 3, and so forth until you have all of the game's 72 achievements. You can also use the up key after typing a command to see the previous command and just change the number. You also only needed the base game to unlock the DLC achievements as well. This method is still frowned upon by some, mostly by the players that actually took the 100-ish hours of playtime to wander the wasteland and actually earn the achievements in the way they were intended. Using the admin console, this can be done in a matter of minutes without leaving the main menu. Once you have the game up and running, that is, which will likely take you longer than actually unlocking the achievements. Fallout 3 was released in 2008 as a Games for Windows Live title, a service that never was good and has been kind of in limbo for years. The Games for Windows Live store was closed in 2013, and finding a disc copy is getting more difficult by the day, and I believe the game can only be installed 5 times with the serial key provided in the box. The most accessible version of Fallout 3 is probably the one on Steam, and it stripped the Games for Windows Live functionality years ago, but I recently learned that you can reactivate it. Yay! The problem is that it does not come with a serial key to get the Games for Windows Live functionality, or the Games for Windows Live service itself. The good news is that the serial keys for Games for Windows Live is interchangeable with other games and should be reusable up to 5 times. If you own another Games for Windows Live game or know someone who does, you can hopefully use that key to activate Games for Windows Live for your Steam copy of Fallout 3. The user on TA has made an excellent guide called Fallout 3 PC Troubleshooting Guide in the True Achievement forums, telling you how to get the Steam version up and running on modern PCs with Games for Windows Live enabled. I was asked to tell you to not harass our for FNCD keys. The guide will tell you all the steps you need to do to get the game up and running with Games for Windows Live functionality, but some of the links are no longer working, meaning you have to track down some Game for Windows Live components yourself. Staff member Rockerdude valiantly followed the guide and got everything up and running and is now 1,550 Gamerscore richer. I now very likely hold the record for most mention of Games for Windows Live in a podcast from 2018, but just in case, Games for Windows Live, Games for Windows Live, Games for Windows Live, Games for Windows Live, Games for Windows